Hello, Internet. Thank you once again for joining me. Look who we have with us today. It's the very wonderful and very beautiful Ashley BeLoat, who is an incredibly versatile vertical actress, as well as also doing many other things, if you look at her Instagram bio. So I'm going to ask Ashley to introduce herself and just cover the many, many things that she does.
Oh, I hate talking for a long time. I try to really paraphrase this answer. Hi, I'm Ashley BeLoat. You've probably seen me poking around the vertical soap opera land. You might have also seen me on a few commercials. I've done some Target and Geico commercials. I'm also a nurse. I'm also a model. I don't know what else to say there. I sound like a narcissist if I go on any longer.
This is the thing, because I knew if you follow, as we tend to in vertical dramas, you look people up on Instagram and you follow them. And obviously it's great because that's how we know what projects you're coming out. Often a lot of you share great behind the scenes stuff. So obviously I found you as a vertical actress. Then I'm like, wow, you're like a top model. You are on like things I've heard of, you know? So, worldwide. And then I'm looking at your bio and you just throw in that, oh, I'm a nurse as well. I mean, what came first and what was the path to doing all
That's
three?
that is such a good question. When I was about 15, that's when I decided I wanted to be a nurse. And I was very lucky that I had that idea as a teenager. I know so many people don't know what they want to do until maybe their mid 20s. I was a nerd. I started college at 15. And yeah, I graduated nursing school at around 21. But that's when I found modeling as well. And one thing led to another. I moved to LA for a modeling contract, and that's when I started submitting to all kinds of work, acting included, booked some acting things, and recognized, wow, I need to get myself into class. And so I did. And then I started working in vertical soap operas, and they book you for so many days back to back that I just couldn't juggle hospital work anymore. So I ended up pausing nursing last year. And if acting work slows down, I'll always go back to the bedside, which I wouldn't be mad at.
Out of total just interest with the nursing, is there any like professional qualifications you have to keep going? Like, is
Yes.
there expiration date? Because I know in the UK there would be, you still have to do the continuous development.
It absolutely is like that. So I have a nursing license for Florida and California. I have to keep
Mm.
up continuing education hours every 2 years. And then I also have to keep some extra certifications like basic life support and advanced cardiac life support
Yeah.
current. So basically doing CPR and knowing all the medications that you give if someone's heart stops in the hospital and
Yeah.
how much you shock them and all of that.
So yeah, so that's quite a bit because you do have to. I can understand, given you've done all that work, you want to keep that going, so you've got that
Oh,
as an option career-wise.
yes.
Wow. And then obviously the next question is, have you ever needed to use your medical skills on either set with modelling or with verticals or any other acting?
Oh boy, we always have hospital day in soap opera land, and when people find out I'm a nurse, oftentimes they'll be setting some stuff up and be like, "Ashley, is this how it's done?" Or "Ashley, what does this equipment do? Would this make sense if we have alarms going off on this and everyone looks concerned?" And I'll be like, "No." Or I remember one time a director was stepping in to set up someone's IV and they were taping it down and I just looked and I didn't say anything, but she looked at me, she's like, "Okay, Ashley, I see the judgment. How is it really done?" I'm like, "Okay, okay." And then there have been the occasions where someone might have gotten accidentally injured, and I'll come over and I'll be the medic on set and be like, "Oh, we don't need stitches. We can clean this up." But yeah.
That's quite a nice plus for the set, isn't it? Just knowing that you're there with that knowledge and you can look after them all.
I'm waiting for the day that I book a nurse or doctor role. Like, that would be a dream.
Yeah, we need that because some, yes, medical accuracy in vertical land is varied, shall we say, in some of
We
the
play
scenes.
pretend.
Exactly, it's very pretend. So you were doing the modelling and you were doing some acting. What was the kind of the first you heard of this format called vertical? What was the sort of first way it popped into your consciousness and awareness?
I saw them on casting websites and I didn't really understand it, so I didn't submit. My manager is who really pitched me to my first vertical I ever did, and that was The Arrangement with Galatea, who is now going by The Candy Jar, I believe.
Mm.
But that was my first vertical ever, and I just I got on set and I was like, this is interesting. It's fun. It's kind of similar to sitcom where I trained a good deal. I was like, there's
Yeah.
music, there's rhythm. I understand this. I think I'd like to master this niche if we're doing more of it. And so I just never looked back.
And then the other thing I really want to ask you about as well is I think some of your early roles, is it fair to say you were kind of playing more of the villain
Oh,
or of the
yes.
antagonist? And
Oh,
also you do it brilliantly. I mean, you are
thank you.
very, very good as a villain. And I think it's something about the physicality. I mean, I feel bad because it's like obviously you're really nice, but like, but you can access that side, and the physicality that you bring as well. You know, they kind of your villains slink in. It's a bit like Cruella de Vil, the way you do them.
It's so funny. I feel like modeling helped me tap into that so much. And I had never played a main character before I got into these verticals. And I felt so unbelievable when I was doing it. I felt so cringe. And I was like, who believes this? And I saw the edit of the first show and I was like, oh, I get it now. But it's very fun because in what other world do you have the chance to do and say these absurd things and not really make someone feel horrible? So it's fun to just be like, oh, in another life, if I really was a horrible
Yeah.
person, this is what.
And so I have to ask with those roles, is there one that stands out of like either you're like she was redeemable, I kind of got where she was coming from, or she was so utterly awful, but I loved it. Like, what were the ones that stood out for you in that sort of?
I have answers for both of those. Cammy Cartwright in Stillwell Cowboys on the candy jar. I booked that role last minute. I was a direct booking. I hadn't auditioned. I, signed on to the project and I was reading the script and I was like, I've been this girl. She didn't have any bad intentions. She was just very naive in the way that she loved this older man. There was a big maturity difference, and every time he was creating distance between them, her in her naivety, she was just like, I can make this work. I can love him anyway, and it's going to be fine. I just have to be understanding. And I wanted everyone to feel so heartbroken for her because I think we've all been that girl
Yeah.
as we first entered the dating world or our first love, and we want it so badly to work, and we just think if we give more of ourselves and just really understand him, it'll be fine. And it wasn't fine. I loved that she learned from that and that she apologized. And I keep hoping that she'll get her own storyline one day and find love herself. But one character that I feel was absolutely horrible and deserved everything she had coming was 100% Candace Gray in Real Shorts, My Firefighter Ex husband burns in regret. Oh, that was an unhinged storyline. Did you see that show?
Yeah, and whoa. I mean, you have to be mean to poor Haley as well, and the child, and yeah, it's how is that? Because that must be quite hard.
The day of
Because
the
the fact
table
that
read.
there's the child death and the stuff about the kids in it, for me, takes it to another level than just the, a bit of slapstick,
A
basically.
100%. I had already worked with Haley once before, and we were already friends. And so on the day of the table read, we showed up, and we knew we wanted to go somewhere as real as possible for this. And we looked at each other, and I said, "We're about to cry together for 2 weeks. Are you ready?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I remember the day of filming Alyssa's funeral scene, and Haley was just so cried out because she went somewhere very real, and it shows in the footage. And I remember her coming up to me at one point and saying, "What do I do? I'm so empty inside." I'm like, "I think Hazel's empty at this point too. I think she's just been waiting on Jason. He hasn't shown up, and this is just where she is." But like that's a bit of the process of how it was. We supported each other, and we enjoyed taking it as real as it could go. But day one, fun story. Day one, first scene she and I did together was the scene where she's slamming my head into her daughter's tombstone. That was our first scene together. Day one, straight out the gate. So here we
And
go.
scene partners, a lot of trust needed here.
Oh, we loved it. We had the best time. And I will say, filming, I was so blessed to have, oh my goodness, the Kimberly, the actress who played Kimberly, Laura, was so talented. She was so talented. She unlocked something inside me that just helped me go real places. And you know how as we finish the scene, a lot of times we don't stop until they say cut, and we'll keep improvising. And this young lady kept improvising in the scene with me, and it hurt in the scene where I was pouring ice in the tub because she kept saying, "No, mommy, it hurts," and trying to get out, and I kept pushing her. Oh my gosh, my chest was so tight with all of that pain, just thinking about someone actually doing that to someone as precious as Laura. But I was grateful that I had so many talented people to go to a very real place like that with. And it was scary for me because I had to do some very unhinged things, but I wanted to be the best chaos I could for that story.
So when you finish something that's that emotionally demanding and draining, do you have like techniques of like, okay, now I'm walking away, how do I leave that behind?
It's hard. I really have to center myself. I have to sometimes, listening to music or just being alone and breathing for a second. But sometimes your body and mind is still in that place. And even if your mind knows you're in the present, your body doesn't know yet. And I've had situations where I'm still shaking and crying an hour or 2 hours after an audition or day on set. And I have to really look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, it's great you got there. That's what you needed to do to make the audience feel something with you, but it's time to come back.
Yeah. So we need more flowers and puppies for Ashley. That's my takeaway from that. I just want to go back to Cammy because
Yes.
the opening scene of Stillwell Cowboys, I think, is one of the most iconic openings of Vertical because it's your character talking to the main male lead, but it's like this amazing silhouette in this barn where you've both got the hats on, so you're instantly setting it. I thought she was the lead. So I watched it and I was like, well, that's the lead. And you could tell. So I got quite upset on your behalf of like,
Thank you.
Right, okay, that isn't the love interest. Why isn't that the love interest? Because she clicked. Yeah, so I just wanted to say, one, it was an iconic opening. And two, I'm kind of with you. And yes, she needs her own love story because she did apologise. As you said, it's redeemable. And yeah, I just wanted to say, I felt for Cammy.
Thank you. Because I really feel like she did the best she could in every circumstance. She tried to be understanding. She tried to be loving. And, even the times where she acted out and did things that were not the smartest, it was just out of a place of immaturity.
Yeah.
And she learned.
But yeah, so just, yes, let's give Cammy a bit of love. Now, the great thing is I know it's something that can kind of come for actresses in that we love you as viewers and you do these amazing villain roles, but then obviously that's not all you want to do as an actress. You want to do more. And what I think you've done brilliantly is break out of that and then play actually a really wide range of lead roles, one of which, your first one, which I don't think many people saw coming, was as a female boxer.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to know that I was booked last minute on that? I was having trouble sleeping one night. I got an email at 3 a.m. saying, you're being called in for a Zoom audition at 11 a.m. to be a pro boxer. And I was like, what? Look at me. Do I? No. And then I was like, okay, well, they've seen my headshots. If they're calling me in, they're willing to play pretend with me. So what did I do? At 5 a.m., I started watching all these YouTube videos of lightweight female boxing matches. I'm like, okay, this is the physicality. Again, I'm pulling the modeling in. I'm like, okay, if someone like me is going to win a boxing match, it's not from brute force. It's from energy conservation, focus, intensity, head games. And that's where we are. And when I got in that Zoom audition, I was like throwing myself against the wall. I'm like dodging. I'm like punching the screen. And I was like, I booked it? Oh, I had the best time. And I had the most amazing stunt coordinator on that show. And I will never forget boxing for 12 hours a day. So fun.
So yeah, so what do they do with you? What were kind of the key things that you were told to kind of make it look real on screen? And also keep you safe?
Oh, safety is the first thing. I'm very big on safety whenever I'm doing stunt work on set. The nice thing about verticals is that we really set everything up for the shot. Every stunt is designed specifically for the shot. Even the slaps, exactly how you slap someone is going to change based on where camera is. So John, my stunt coordinator, he was so great. He would make these sequences designed for how they wanted to film, and we would go shot by shot. For like any specific sequences, I'd train them with my partners at half speed at first. And anytime I could avoid making contact with them, I would. And I would be like, okay, so for the time that my knee is supposed to be making contact with you, I'm not going to actually touch you. I'm just going to do a huh, so you know when to sell it, but things like that. And it was pretty taxing. There was one day, like I said, for 12 hours, I was in the ring. I was doing kidnapping sequences. And so there were multiple big fight sequences, sometimes with multiple people. And by the end of the day, my brain just was getting foggy because I was tired and my reaction times were getting slower. And I was extra careful not to hurt anyone because that's when people can get hurt. But thankfully, no one got hurt on that show. And it was so fun.
Because I just think it was brilliant because obviously it's so nice seeing a female lead who's as empowered as Daisy is. It's like there's a brilliant bit where you're confronting your horrible ex, and it's like, don't punch me, and it's like, yes, that's what we want for the horrible exes, them to be scared and going, oh, she's going to come for me.
Wasn't that not funny how they had him hiding behind the sofa?
It's brilliant. It's an absolute hoot. And I also wanted to talk about it because she's in that one, and I know she's in at least another one with you, which is the amazing Trisha Connor Jackson, because she is the dreadful mother in that one. What is it like working with her? Because she's a little bit of an icon, really, isn't she?
She is the most beautiful human being. My first show I ever did with her was Start Over, where she played my mother who had like Alzheimer's or dementia of some kind. So I got to experience her in a very like tragically beautiful role first, and getting to have her be really mean to me as my mother-in-law, and that one was super fun. But she's the most lovely, kind actress in real life. It's so much fun to play pretend with her.
Oh, and do you have any other kind of favourite sort of parent or that sort of relationships that you've had on screen in your roles?
Who else have I had as my parent? I would say she's a standout for sure. One of my favorite actresses to work with in general is for sure Haley. I want to play her sister one day. And I've really enjoyed every time I've been paired with a child. The children actors are so much fun to work with.
And how does that work in that, are they, because I've sort of heard different things about sometimes they kind of thread the lines and sometimes it's more you improvise with them and kind of let them react. Is it a mix of both, or how does it tend to work?
I think it's a good mix of both. I think if they're comfortable enough to improvise, that's wonderful. I always try to make them feel comfortable. And I try to keep it play with them. I always want them to be having fun, especially if I'm a character that has to be mean to them. My biggest priority is making sure they feel safe with me, because there's not a lot of time for timeouts on set sometimes. And if I'm the one in closest proximity to them, I always want them to feel comfortable to tell me, hey, I don't feel safe. But no, we always have a great time, and I try to keep the spontaneity alive because that's when the magical moments happen.
Because I find it quite interesting as a fan, because often when I ask about, favourite lines that I've had, people are like, oh yeah, no, that was improvised.
Yeah.
We just came up with that.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, because obviously Punch Me Baby's brilliant because you're a female boxer, but another one that you're in that I think a lot of people love is Showtime Ladies, because it's a girl gang. That's probably one of the very few verticals we've got, which is like the girl buddies taking on the world, and we all want so many more of those. How was that? Basically, any fun stories, memories?
Oh, that was just such a unique show. First of all, I have to praise Nick because he did such a great job of being the character that everyone enjoys watching go down this spiral of destruction. And he played it so perfectly. I loved all the choices he made, and we improvised a lot together on that show. He's so creative. He's so in the moment. He's just so great to work with. But yes, it was so fun to have a storyline where it was girl power, where one girl had something happen to her and the others were just like, you know what, yeah, let's take him down. And I think we need more of that in life.
Yeah, I think verticals do bear up in comparison to a lot of Hollywood stuff. Because I think when you actually look at the stories and the payoff, it can be just as good as if not better in verticals. So
Agreed. I've heard that Hulu and Netflix are making some vertical content now too.
So hopefully, and they need to listen to all of you, because you guys obviously know what works and kind of the format and the story and the pace. So hopefully see you soon. What are the other sort of favourite roles that you've had as a lead? So you've had quite a few out this year. I'm just going to tell people what they are because
Yes.
good old IMDb, remind us all. Do you find that you can keep them straight in your head? Because I've had quite a few people tell me that everything just merges.
I'm starting to get to that point. I'm on my 18th vertical right now, but I know people who have done like 26, and I aspire to be on that level. I would say one that really stood out for me was Start Over. It is on Stardust. I believe it's on Drama Box, but that was my first lead ever, and getting to play a main antagonist and the protagonist and work with a body double, that was also very precise as well. And due to scheduling of the day, like we didn't follow the shoot schedule very much. So I never knew what scene was coming next, and I never knew what character I was going to be next. So I would have to just prep on the fly. And the character Kuna, the antagonist, monologued a lot. So I would be like her, like trying to get that. But one thing that was an eye opener working with a body double was like, when we're blocking the scene, my lovely body double Elena didn't really get briefed on the scenes, and she was just there to stand where they told her to stand. And we'd be going through the scene, and I'd be like, pause. Okay, so Elena, at this point, I'm going to be making probably a gesture with my left hand, so that way OTS, the over the shoulder coverage, can match up. But it was so technical, and also like, in the last minutes, because playing two characters talking to each other, every scene that I approached, I had to be like, okay, how can I make these characters entirely different? And some of the choices would be made just on the fly with my lovely director, Annabelle. She's awesome. But it was such a challenge, and I'm glad I had that challenge for my first lead.
Did you have anything like wardrobe, or something that just allowed you to cue of like, right now I'm this is where I am with my emotions?
Yeah. I feel like costume design is a big key in unlocking physicality of the character for me. And once I figure out how they stand and move, it tells me a lot more about who they are and how they speak. And I always have those moments of discovery with every single character that I play.
And just out of interest, because obviously you work as a model as well, so presumably do see, how does it compare, just like the costumes? Is there a bit of a crossover? Because I know that sometimes the vertical fashion, obviously influences are often coming from East Asia and China.
Yeah.
What is there a crossover with like where the modelling world is and fashion? How would you compare the styles?
So. I would say so. I mean, my job as a model has always been to just be put in any kind of fabric, any kind of silhouette, figure out how it moves, and emphasize that. As far as, trends go, trends come and go. The styles that are classically in verticals, like the antagonists, they're always super flashy. There's a lot of silks because those pop nicely on camera, silks or satins. And I feel like just simply allowing your body to move with whatever you're in, automatically a character is made. So, I hate to say this, like trends of fashion, they come and go, and they're influenced by cinema and movies as well. But I think the vertical style is kind of a niche in a way, but I'm not mad at it.
And would you say, is it true that if you're playing a villain, you get a better wardrobe than if you're playing a lead?
You get the more flashy wardrobe, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And have you ever had any of those really big vertical necklaces?
Oh, yes, and sound really hates them.
Really? Oh, of course, because they must be, yeah.
Yes. I'm usually the person that sound hates, especially if I'm playing a villain. Funny story, when I was playing Cammy, she was always in low-rise jeans and crop tops, right? So my sound mixer, Ian, he was trying to find out where he could hide the sound pack on me because it was all skin for me. And he was like, okay, I'm going to put this really tiny mic pack on you. I was like, oh, I didn't know they made them that small. And he's like trying to hide it in my little crop top. He's like, well, to be honest, I am sacrificing some of the quality of the sound to use this smaller pack. And I said, well, Ian, let's be honest. If a girl requires a mic pack this small, she's not booked to speak. At least I was self-aware.
Just maybe totally go for that. What about the vertical wedding dresses? Because you've had one or two of those as well, and they're often quite. They look quite heavy sometimes. There's a lot of material going on.
There's a lot of material, and but hey, you need to be a princess at least once or twice or 3 or 20 times in your life if you're in the verticals. But no, who doesn't love getting to be in a wedding dress? I got to do a lot of bridal modeling in my modeling journey, and a lot of the dresses were not as heavy, but I'm not mad that these are. They're quite extra, and we need it.
And do you have a favourite wedding scene, like a favourite happy ever after that one of your leading characters has had?
I don't know about favorite. They've all been so different. In Hate the Way I Love You, where I play Lillian, who has terminal lung cancer, that was a first where we say I do, we kiss, and then she just faints. Funny story, we didn't actually get to rehearse that scene before we did it. We were just, going, and I fainted, and Travis, my co-star, he forgot I was supposed to faint, and I'm pretty sure in the wide, his reaction, oh shit, where he catches me, I'm pretty sure that was his real reaction.
Did he catch you in the end? You were all right?
He did, thankfully. Yes, but I did go quite low, because,
It was for, it looked better on screen.
Yes, it did. Very dramatic.
And then just with characters, have you done, because I don't think you have you done any werewolf ones? Because I don't think you've done is that correct? Or have you got something coming out?
Tomorrow I'm going to be on set for something that may or may not.
Okay. And is that quite exciting? Because it's been really interesting talking to you about you enjoying the physicality, and I can see that if you move into slightly more supernatural roles, that adds that fun element of you of like, how do I make this work physically?
I'm so excited. I haven't done a fitting for this. They're going to fit me on set because I was traveling and filming for some other things. And I've already worked with the wardrobe stylist before. I know she's going to have amazing options. But knowing who my character is, I can't wait to be put in these clothes and unlock some of this stuff. My character has a very fun arc. It's going to be fun to explore.
So talking about future projects then, what other things have you got coming up that we can look forward to? Because I know that you probably have quite a lot of finished projects, but they might not be out yet. So
I do have another project for Galatea/Candy Jar coming out. I will have something with Drama Box coming out soon. I have a short film that I played a leading role in that I could not be more excited about. The team is trying to meet the deadlines to submit for Sundance and what have you, and it may end up being my latest favorite thing. Another one of my short films that was a psychological thriller that has been doing the short film circuit before it's publicly released. You might see it on my social media, Alice and the Little Green Men. It just won Best Sci-Fi Fantasy Horror at Chicago Horror Fest. It did really well at... Thank you! It's such a terrifying story. I can't wait until I can share it publicly with the world. So dark, so beautiful. I love working in horror and thriller. What else? I have a feature film that I shot in England last year that is still in post. There's so much that I have in the pipeline still.
And is it right? Because I know that a lot of actors and actresses have said you don't really get told until possibly maybe either the producer and director knows that, oh, that show's out now. And I know quite a lot of people are like, the first time they know is when a fan messages them and go, you're on Drama Docs, it's out now.
I've had that happen so many times. So you might have sent me some things too that you probably have. And that's how I'll see when something is out. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, thank you for telling me. But yes, we're the last to know.
And I just had to ask, that's about a lot, social media, because obviously that's kind of a new dimension of all this now, and particularly I think with verticals, because at the moment you are all so kind and so accessible and so happy to talk to people. What kind of reaction do you get from fans? What's the kind of feedback that you get, and what roles do they tell you that they love seeing you play?
Oh my goodness. Lately, I've been getting such lovely messages from people about the lead roles that I've been releasing. But I also get people that say, "Don't get me wrong, we love to hate you when you play the," which
Yeah.
I've learned to be like, I see the compliment in it, and I'm very happy to hear that.
Mm.
I think I think villains would get much more praise if their names were more released,
Mm.
honestly, because I try not to share any footage unless it's pre-paywall because I don't want to sacrifice the integrity of the project or
Mm.
unless it's been like released somewhere publicly by the platform. And the fact is that the villain actors, they don't get as much of that footage. So I feel like if their work was out there more for people to see, they would get more appreciation. They would get more love. It just so happens that the leads have more of that, and I think they get more attention. But we need more love for the villains. We do.
Yeah, and I want to see a villain get their man. Like
Yeah,
one of these, one day I want them to get
yeah.
man. So just as a turn up for the books,
And,
or pair up and like because that's
mm,
always fun when you have. Have you ever had a good partner in crime? Because that's always quite
yes.
fun when you see different like antagonists. Then like we will work together to take them down.
Oh, that's so much fun. And that's like instantly comedic too, because then just getting to physically play off of each other as well in the moment. That's when so much improvising has
Yeah.
happened too. I There was one I did for real short. Oh my goodness, Fake It Till You Love Me. Sophia DeLucchi was the lead on that one,
Mm.
but my character Abby was paired with her ex. Of course, I stole her ex from her. My
Mm.
character did, but I just remember like at the party scenes and everything, he'd be like, "Oh, it's you," and I'd be like, "Oh yeah," and we'd just be like these two people just like me at her. But it makes it very fun when you have a partner to just tease someone.
So you've kind of worked with obviously a lot of the big names in the space. Are there kind of people that you're like, I'd love to work with? You know, whether it's directors, producers, writers, actors,
Ooh,
actresses. Are there any you're like, I'd
Danny
love to?
Farber. Danny Farber is an amazing director. He's actually been my scene partner because he also acts. He's a brilliant actor.
Mm.
I've done some commercials and things and some comedic scenes with him. I would love to work with him. Him being my director. Ryan Wagner is another amazing director that works with Galatea, the Candy Jar. And,
Mm.
I've worked with him 3 times now as a supporting character. I would love to go on a lead journey with him because he's so good and he has such a vision for every story that he attacks. I would love to work with Haley again. I would love to work with Luca again, a very talented actor that I did My Secret Lover is My Bestie's son with. He's so sweet and he's so great to work with. I
Mm.
would love to work with him again. I've met so many incredible people. And I just want to adopt them all. I wish I could
Yeah.
work with them all the time.
Because actually, yeah, I want to ask you about, you know, My Secret Lover is My Bestie's son. Um, my initial one was, this is casting Ashley a little old.
I've done auditions for characters that are turning 50. And I've
Okay.
also done auditions for characters that are 18, 19. So I
Wide
just chalk
range.
it up to we're in a space that really plays pretend and we go for it.
But I thought that one was so good because, well, two things. Basically, it shows sexuality without ever going too like down the dark route. It's just really healthy and wonderful. Um, but also, it's just nice seeing the male character do all the chasing.
I know. I know. That was a story that could have gone predatory very easily,
Mm.
but I just feel like the way everyone played it, it was so heartwarming. Like that was my goal approaching the
Mm.
whole thing. And I wanted it to feel very heartwarming. And watching it all the way through, I was rooting for the characters and I felt like it ended very sweet. And yeah, it was an endearing storyline the way it was executed, I think.
And I think just a real show that with like the right writers, right, obviously cast, right team, you can
Yeah.
tell these stories and nuanced and that it's beautiful. As you said, it doesn't go down a route that you don't want to be in. So, have you noticed with scripts, are you seeing a wider range of formats coming through now?
I do see a certain amount of formula still alive. I do see what's worked before being reinvented again. I feel every once in a while there are a few new groundbreaking ideas that come through, and then they're reinvented again and again, because it worked. But I think gradually the space is widening. I think gradually the ideas are becoming more broad. I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to see where it continues to go.
What do you personally, sort of what are your ambitions within the vertical space, as in, do you want to stay acting? Have you got any interest in writing or producing?
Ooh, people have told me I should be a producer, but I've produced a few things in my day, and from what I've done, it's a lot. I think I could do it. I don't think I would enjoy it. But I would love to continue acting. I feel like there's still so much more to explore and learn there. But I think if I had to do something other than acting, I could see myself really enjoying being a first AD and keeping the day running smoothly. That seems very similar to what I did as a charge nurse in the hospital. I would love being a director and working with the actors and also trying to set the day up for success with time, and find that happy medium of keeping client happy and helping the actors shine and tell a story that would reach audiences. But for the time being, I'm very satisfied in my place as an actor.
Oh, that's wonderful. You just sound like you're loving it so much. It's so nice to hear someone who's just so happy. So I'm going to ask you some more general life questions now.
Okay.
Just things the world needs to know about Ashley. First of all, do you have a pet? Are you an animal person?
Oh, I am an animal person. I rent from a lovely woman that owns a home. I rent her master bedroom and bath, and she owns two dogs, and I'm the godmother of these dogs. One of them is deaf, and she's a little special needs, but she is the sweetest thing. And then the other one is a Labrador that loves to go swimming anytime he has the chance. And but yeah, so I'm a godmother to two dogs.
And that's the perfect way of doing it, isn't it? Because they're there when you're home, but then you don't have that worry of when you're travelling or working because you know that like the main owner's with them. So that's perfect. Did
It's
you have to win
amazing.
their trust, or were you instantly accepted as part of the family?
I was instantly adopted. I do hear that our lovely girl, Peiko, that is deaf, I hear that she's been abused in the past and that she nips at new people, which I've seen. But the moment that I came to tour the space, she immediately came over and gave me a hug and wanted to follow me everywhere. And apparently that's not normal. So I was just adopted right away by her, and I'm about it. She's such a sweet girl.
That's why you got the broom, I think. If you hadn't got past her, you would have been. I love that. Oh, that's wonderful. Um, so, d- talking about like the modelling, are there kind of other skills that you have? I mean, obviously you have a lot with the modelling and the nursing but like, are there other skills you'd love to be able to show on screen? Is there like dance or music or like sport? Other things you'd like to bring to screen?
I used to play piano a lot. I don't have a piano where I live right now. I can't read music, but I played by ear. I have not practiced in a long time because I've been so busy. Randomly, I've found myself throughout life working with musicians, either writing songs or singing or jamming, and I'm not a professional level singer whatsoever, but people ask me to sing sometimes. I don't know. In another life, I would have loved to pursue music. So if I ended up with the time to really train in music, that would be something I'd love to explore.
Have you ever done a music video actually? Because I know that that's quite a lot of work for some people. The music videos.
Yeah, I've done a fair amount of music videos. I did one of my first few music videos in LA was for Chris Brown. I was just a featured background. I've done one for Palais Royale where I got my heart punched out of me by a vampire. Super fun, super bloody.
That's very
Uh,
vertical. Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't know that that was what was happening when I showed up on set. I just remember them looking at the dress that I was wearing, saying, "Oh, it's a shame it's going to get bloody," and I was like, "What?" Uh, then I can't even remember, but I haven't done a lot of music videos lately because I've been so busy with these.
Verticals. And then I have to ask, what are your own watching habits? So kind of what are TV and films that you love? What do you like to...
Ooh, I don't see. It's so hard for me to plan to sit down for a long period of time because I just hate sitting still. I usually like if I watch anything, it's because I'm watching it with a friend. But my comfort shows, I love sitcoms. New Girl, or like the old black and white TV shows. I love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke Show. I love those.
Yeah.
So good. She was just a master of comedy. She was so good. If I'm watching a movie though, I love a psychological thriller. Like some of my favorites all time are Shutter Island. I love Psycho, old black and white stuff. I don't know. That's about where I am.
I
Yeah.
love that. It's a good mix. I have to ask, I thought like the lazy question would be to ask you who's your favourite redhead, and that's very boring. So my question is, who's your favourite other Ashley? Because there's a lot of famous Ashleys in the world. Do you have a favourite other Ashley?
I grew up watching The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody on Disney Channel. Maybe Ashley Tisdale, because she was also in High School Musical.
Ashley Tisdale is the best.
Yes. Yeah.
I loved Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure because I had like sort of 5, 6-year-old kids who kind of obviously they lived that at that stage. But she got her love interest. She got the story in the spin-off that all the villains need. I love that movie.
You're onto something here. You're really onto something here.
So yeah, poor old Sharpay. Yeah, that's an awesome choice of another top Ashley. So if your favourite Ashley isn't Ashley BeLoat, you can have Ashley Tisdale. So it's fine. And then just sort of final question, just travel really, because there's quite a lot of verticals being made abroad now. It's kind of, there's a lot springing up in Europe. Obviously quite a lot of people are going to China. You mentioned that you've done a feature film in England. Is that something you'd like to explore or you'd be interested in pursuing?
I would love traveling some more for verticals. I've been asked to go to China a few times, but scheduling has never worked out because who knew that quitting my full-time job would still keep scheduling conflicts alive and well still. But I would love to go to China. I've been asked to go to Lithuania. I'm hoping that works out soon. Canada, I'd love to go. I hear people are going to Italy now. Send me to Italy. Oh my goodness. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do that, and it's like, but it's work. It's a work trip.
Yeah, yeah.
Joyous, isn't it? That's the dream.
Are there any locations that you're really hoping that they start to film in?
I think just all around Europe, really, because there's so many beautiful locations. So I've just made contact with a French producer and actor who's just done the first French language vertical. So that's quite exciting because if obviously we can get you all to Paris, that would be good, wouldn't it? We can have a vertical version of Emily in Paris. So that's quite cool. Yeah, that's the obvious one for me. Get you all down on the Riviera. That feels very vertical, doesn't it? You're all in Monaco with the yachts. I can see people being pushed into the harbour. So
I say we need this.
So yeah, that's the hope. And obviously I want you all to come to the UK as well. So I'm always like, come to London. We've got a lot of stately homes for people to kind of have big dramas in. So
England is so beautiful. When I went, we were filming mainly in the countryside, so I didn't really get to see much of London, but everything I saw was so charming and beautiful.
So yeah. So you must tell us when that comes out so that we can all support you in that as well. So
you got it.
And I just want to say finally, just like thank you for being you, because you've been so kind, and people might not realise, but Ashley got up pretty early to do this, and she's just got back from travelling for being away. And you would not know it, would you? Because this woman is sparkling and on form. So just thank you so, so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate your time.
No, thank you for your love and support for this community. Thank you for just keeping everyone informed about new shows coming out. Like, it warms our hearts as actors when people love what we do, and I'm so grateful for you.
Oh, thank you. You're amazing.